Here we go. The rich don't work for money. So, lesson one from Robert Kiyosaki has been phenomenal. If you don't understand the meaning of lesson one and what that means, how the rich don't work for money, how the rich don't work for this, the Almula part, you're missing out. So, we've been studying this lesson for the last week. And I got to tell you, since I've read it a few times, like the whole concept of money, the whole concept of money generation, uh, will change for you as it's changing for me and many others who are attending. There's about 127 of us now in this group, and it's really incredible what we're learning about money and how you can deploy it. Now, we're not talking about earning a living. You can still earn a living and get paid per hour, per day, per month. But we're talking about the meaning of money and how you can deploy it in a business, how you can deploy it in your assets, how you can deploy it in a way so it can earn money for you so that you're not a slave, because you can become a slave for money. And there are certain things that you have to really demolish and deal with in terms of the fear and the monger and the desire when it comes to money. So in lesson one, which we're going to continue with today at 5 p.m., you're welcome to join. It's just phenomenal. So I'm just going to show you quickly here what he said. Let me see if I can share, because I just did a post and it just makes so much sense for me to share it live for you, because then it's available to you and me everywhere, and you'll get to see it. So look what he said here, right? See, right away in lesson one, like debt is money, and most poor people. I mean, I used to be very poor. Thanks be to God, grateful now with the education and deploying money and assets. I don't consider myself poor anymore. Middle class and rising. Now we're thinking like debt is money. It's okay to be in debt. Most people are afraid of that. The Ramsey way is afraid of it. The Susan way is afraid of that. So in lesson one, these two kids, Mike and Robert, right? They're working together, and right away they form a partnership to make a business. And it's a very interesting lesson because right away they learn that you can't just go and forge silver coins from toothpaste. They went on collecting toothpaste from the neighborhood and thinking that they can just burn them off and collect the lead out of them. This is back in, I think, 1956. So, and then they were making these coins. It's a joke, but it's real because he's telling a real story. So these two kids working for this rich dad, right? And he was paying them very little. He paid them very, very less than the rest of the market. You know, people were getting 20 cents, 30 cents maybe for the day. He was paying them 10 cents a day so that they can learn and appreciate. And then in the following weeks, after they kind of got fed up with it, he actually paid them less. He paid them zero. And the reason is if you're not going to work for money, you can't be getting paid any money. Again, I want you to be careful. I'm not talking about employing yourself per hour, per job. No, you're going to have to do that until you figure out a few things. But it's when you earn this money, when you have some of it sitting in the bank, when you have some of it that's borrowed, how do you move that capital? How do you get that business going? So, this rich dad was teaching these two kids a beautiful lesson about money. And you are welcome to continue to learn this lesson with us. Then I found this amazing video of him talking about it. And here I am going to share it with you. So, let's just see. I watch what he's talking about. This is not a joke. This is the way the rich are doing it. Like, it's like a boom. I mean, and the more I watch what he's talking about, the more it hits harder.
How much debt are you in?
1.2 billion. Debt is money. You know, my poor dad always says, get out of debt. Dave Ramsey says, get out of debt. My rich dad says, only lazy people use their own money. Your job is to borrow money. We're always buying real estate because we use debt. We pay no tax legally.
And you talk about in the Rich Dad Principles that good debt puts money in your pocket. You use other people's money to create more value, essentially, and to create cash flow and financial freedom. Yeah. I haven't found anything else out there that has the same tax strategies and legal loopholes and have those infinite returns like you talk about. It's pretty amazing.
My job is to invest with no money. So a lot of times we'll buy, like 300-unit apartment house. We have $1 million in it. We get the net operating income up. We fix it up, increase the rents and all this stuff. NOI is high enough, the banker will give us our $1 million back. So guess what? When that $1 million comes back to us, we're now infinite because none of our money is in it.
I was talking to my friend William. We were talking about impossible goals. We were talking about like a 10-year goal and whatever. And he goes, have you thought about about your 1,000-year goal? That's legacy. Called it the Jesus effect. Like Jesus lives on long after he's gone. You've changed the way the world sees money, and that'll continue to live on.
Why are poor people poor? Because they use poor words. The word became flesh and dwelt amongst us from the Bible. And when a person says, I can't afford it, or I can't do that, they see themselves poorly.
And where your attention goes, your energy flows. And so if your attention is on what you don't want, I don't want to be poor, I don't want to have a bad relationship, I don't want to be sick, then all you're going to get is all of those things.
What you don't want.
What do you think are the top attributes of a incredible salesperson like Elon Musk or Donald Trump? Like what do you think that edge is to be able to sell anything?
So cool. Because
Hey, we didn't hear that.
oh, she's gonna go through the beginning of the interview again.
Oh,
So it's not gonna be right now. It's gonna be at a different time. So what I'm encouraging you to do is to figure it out. Figure out what he's talking about here about money and how you can start deploying it. Most people, and I was like that, 8, 9, 10 years ago, even though I've been working for 22 years, I did not know where my money's at. It was with Edward Jones, it was with Charles Schwab, it was with this, but it was just doing something in the market until I learned how to access that money and deploy it into digital assets or into real estate investment that really makes money for you. And then you start thinking like the rich. Now, I'm not talking about $100 million yet, but you got to start somewhere. So it doesn't matter if you have $50,000 or $100,000, because the way you deal with a small number is just as good as how you're going to deal with a big number. So I don't want to hear that some people say, oh, I only have $5,000 or 10. Well, guess what? Then you can invest just that in whatever you want. I'm not selling you anything here. I'm just teaching you a bit about what this guy's talking for the last 30 years about money. And it's a concept because when we were kids, if you were raised poor, like I was raised, money was a no-no. It was not a subject you discussed on dinner. It was nothing, none of it to be around. It was bad. It was the rich people were considered bad. So you have all kind of bad programming and ideas about money. But many people are like that. As a matter of fact, the more I talk to many of you, maybe 70, 80, maybe 90% have this bug and this fear about money, and they don't understand the concept of earning income. See, when you go to school, you get a job. And I've gone to school, so you can see my degrees. I actually had 5 degrees when I woke up. Like, well, it's not the degrees, really. That's not what earn you money. You got to solve problems, and you got to build businesses and assets that generate income. So the fact that a lot of us go to school and get an education, that's just the beginning. So we're learning a few things. But now, what do you do with that? How do you deploy it? How do you earn more? How, if you have an asset or two, let's say you have one, and it got you 10, 12% last year. Well, how can you make it do 15%? Let's say if it's a building, can you renovate it and move the rent? Let's say it's a chocolate ice cream store and you have 10 customers a day. Can you make it 20 customers a day? So that's the idea of business and money. And then can you do it without you being there? So the concept of that he's teaching here is phenomenal. We're going to continue the session on these two kids he's teaching them. One is Mike and one is Robert, about money. And right away in the first 3 weeks, they got fed up. And he's like, well, you're learning something. And they're like, no, we're not. He's like, yeah, you're learning something. They're like, oh, of course we're learning. You're giving us 10 cents. Everybody else is getting 20 and 30 cents. And he's like, well, that's the whole point. You get fed up because you only got paid 10 cents an hour, 10 cents for the day. No, I think it was 10 cents an hour, right? So whereas some people would stay in the same pay forever. And they don't even complain about it because that's all they know. So then he's teaching them on lesson 1, the rich don't work for money. And then he goes, do you really understand what that means? And they're like, no, we don't. And he's like, well, I'm going to teach you what that means. So then he's trying to make a deal with them, this rich dad, about for the next few weeks, he's paying them $0 per hour. And they're like, how is that be? That's like child labor, child slavery, and blah, blah, blah. And he's like, the rich don't work for money. So if you're going to understand this, they had to work for him to, I think, work through the store, moving cans and dusting and stuff for free because he's teaching them about money. They wanted to learn how to make money. So very interesting session. We're halfway through the first lesson, so don't miss out. I want you to have it all, and the recordings are available, but it's nothing like attending live. There's about 127 people now in the school. So show up, sign up. It's for free. This is actually $100 value that you'll get because many people post their stuff, including mine, but you're getting it for free. And so I would say this course is probably $10,000 value, and we're at the beginning of it. So join us, click the link, and I look forward to seeing you sometime soon. And if you don't show up, I wish you the best. Enjoy. And remember lesson one, the rich don't work for money.